So hello students, welcome to Junior Science Olympiad. This is Basvaraj sir, your biology master teacher. हमने पिछले क्लास में हमने पूरा का पूरा प्रोकैरियोटिक सेल फिनिश किया था और आज की क्लास में हम स्टार्ट करेंगे यूकैरियोटिक सेल से. Now students, पिछले क्लास में हमने पूरा का पूरा यूकैरियोटिक सेल में क्या बात किया हमने. I told you about the different types of layers around prokaryotic cell. तीन लेयर होते हैं. जो आउटर मोस्ट लेयर इज कॉल्ड एज ग्लाइकोकैलिक्स, उसके बाद आता है सेल वॉल, उसके बाद इनर मोस्ट लेयर इज कॉल्ड एज सेल मेम्ब्रेन. सो उस तरह से हमने पूरा का पूरा 3 लेयर्स पढ़ा. उसके बाद वी आल्सो लर्नड अबाउट इनसाइड व्हाट आर डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनल्स. यहां पर इन द केस ऑफ योर प्रोकैरियोटिक सेल कुछ है ही नहीं, उतना खास कुछ नहीं है. वहां पर एक मेसोसोम है, फिर राइबोसोम्स, फिर उसके बाद थोड़े थोड़े ये है क्रोमैटोफोर्स है और न्यूक्लियोइड. सो प्रोकैरियोटिक सेल बहुत ही इजी है अंडरस्टैंड करने में. But compared to prokaryotic cell, eukaryotic cell has a lot. समझो इस बात को. When you talk about eukaryotic cell, it is a very vast. शायद से आप लोगों ने देखा भी होगा. Let me show you one more time, students, if you forgot. If you look at a typical eukaryotic cell, अगर आप एक eukaryotic cell पे देखोगे तो यहाँ पर बहुत सारे ऑर्गेनल्स हैं. यहाँ पर बहुत ही सारे ऑर्गेनल्स हैं. इस तरह से देखो. पहले फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल सेंटर में क्या है? सेंटर में हमारा न्यूक्लियस विद न्यूक्लियर पोर है. उसके बाद एक मिनट, ये क्यों छोड़ा, क्यों हो रहा? एक मिनट. उसके बाद देख रहे हो यहां पर गोल्जी बॉडीज है, फिर उसके बाद एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम, फिर सेंट्रियोल्स, फिर सेंट्रोसोम. सो यूकैरियोटिक सेल में बहुत ही सारे ऐसे ऑर्गेनल्स हैं जिसको आपको पढ़ना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. सो वन बाय वन वील गो with the eukaryotic cell. Students, quickly tell me in the chat right now if I'm audible and visible to all of you. Quickly tell me in the chat if I'm audible and visible. Hello everyone. Students, Omkar, Aditya, hello, welcome to the class. Quickly tell me in the chat if I'm audible to all of you. Okay. Now students, let's start with the first thing first. Okay. Now let me ask all of you a simple question. Simple question right now. Who can answer this question? In which kingdom? Right? In which kingdom do we find prokaryotic cell? ये prokaryotic cell कौन सी kingdom में पाया जाता है? You will tell me, sir, kingdom Monera is prokaryotic cell. So then what are the remaining kingdoms? What do you think remaining kingdoms have? For example, we could have, it could be Protista, it could be Animalia, it could be Plantae, it could be Fungi. ये सारे के सारे kingdoms में the main type of cell is found is eukaryotic cell. So that is the first point, students. The first point is that eukaryotic cell कहां पर पाया जाता है, students? Eukaryotic cell is found in Protista, Plantae, Animalia, Fungi. ये सारे के सारे kingdoms में eukaryotic cell पाया जाता है. So all of you will remember this, students. Tell me yes or no in the chat quickly. All of you quickly in the chat. Will all of you remember this? Tell me yes or no. Quickly students, quickly tell me in the chat. One second students. कुछ lag नहीं है ना यहाँ पर? Lag तो नहीं है. Lag तो कुछ दिख नहीं रहा. ठीक है. So all of you have to remember that all of these kingdoms will have eukaryotic cell होता है इसके अंदर. Eukaryotic cell. Now let me ask all of you one simple question again. In kingdom Monera, students, or Protista cell, did we have membrane bound organelles वहां पर? Protista में कोई membrane bound organelles था? नहीं. All the organelles do not have any membrane in the case of prokaryotic cell. पर अब यहां से देखो, from your characteristics of eukaryotic cell, सारे के सारे membrane bound organelles पाए जाते हैं यहां पर. So in the case of eukaryotic cell, all the different organelles have membrane around it. Like शायद से एक बात सुन, अगर मैं एक ऑर्गेनल लूं, मैंने अभी शर्ट पहना है, दिस इज माय आउटर कवरिंग नाउ. इस तरह से हर एक ऑर्गेनल के पास अभी एक्स्ट्रा कवरिंग होता है. नाउ अगेन अ क्वेश्चन टू ऑल ऑफ यू. कैन एनीवन टेल मी व्हिच आर द 2 organelles which are found in eukaryotic cell which do not have membrane? Who can tell me, students? Who can tell me? Namaste students. Who can tell me, students, which are the 2 organelles under eukaryote which do not have any membrane? You will tell me, sir, ribosome और उसके साथ सेंट्रोसोम. राइबोसोम और सेंट्रोसोम में मेम्ब्रेन बाउंड ऑर्गेनल्स नहीं होते, और ऑर्गेनल के पास मेम्ब्रेन नहीं होता वहां पर. देयर इज नो मेम्ब्रेन. सो प्लीज रिमेंबर दैट देयर इज ऑलवेज सर्टेन एक्सेप्शंस कैन बी देयर. ओके. सो ऑर्गेनाइज्ड न्यूक्लियस विद न्यूक्लियर एनवेलप, मतलब यहां पर न्यूक्लियस भी पाया जाता है और न्यूक्लियस के अराउंड, न्यूक्लियस के सराउंडिंग एक न्यूक्लियर एनवेलप भी होता है, दैट इज द न्यूक्लियर मेम्ब्रेन. नाउ any smart kids who can tell me how many nuclear envelopes are found in nucleus? 0, 1 or 2? Who can tell me, students? In nucleus, how many membranes do you think it has? Nucleus. So students, remember, in the cell there are 3 organelles In the entire cell, eukaryotic cell, there are three organelles which has a double membrane. Yes, there are three organelles which has a double membrane. The first one is mitochondria, outer membrane, inner membrane, chloroplast, outer membrane, inner membrane, and lastly, nucleus also has two membrane, outer membrane and inner membrane. So this can also be asked as a question to all of you. So they can ask you, in eukaryotic cell, which does not have any membrane, ribosome and centrosome, which has membrane, normal Golgi body, endoplasmic reticulum, you can write double membrane, mitochondria, chloroplast, as well as nucleus. This much all of you have to remember. Yaad rahega na itna? Students, can all of you remember this? Let me yes or no quickly, students, in the chat. Will all of you remember this? For nucleus, mitochondria, chloroplast, two membrane. Okay. Now here we can see complex locomotory and cytoskeletal structures. इसका मतलब यहाँ पर एक सेल के अंदर ना, एक सेल के अंदर you will have a framework. Like हमारे बॉडी है ना, हमारे बॉडी में the main framework is what? To our body the main framework is bones. Bones are the outer framework to our body. इसी तरह से सेल के अंदर भी एक skeleton तरह के कुछ होता है. That is called a cytoskeleton. So in the case of eukaryotic cell, we can find a framework. We can find a framework, students, framework. Now here DNA is going to be in the form of chromosomes. So all the DNA, students, how many of you seen DNA packaging? Raise your hands. How many of you know how much of DNA is present in one cell? Do all of you know? See, in your body, DNA will not be present as such. ऐसे कुछ नहीं रहेगा. See, in your body, students, in your body, DNA will generally not be found like this. Audible now? Students, am I audible right now? Yes? Quickly tell me in the chat if I am audible. Where did the voice go? Students, if I am audible, quickly tell me in the chat if I am audible right now. Students, am I audible right now? Yes, I think I am audible right now. Okay, let me tell you one more time, students, histone protein. Otherwise, you'll forget it off. One second. Let me show you one more time. One second. Otherwise, you can't remember histone protein. Now, exactly what happens in your DNA packaging, understand, students. In the case of your DNA packaging, the entire DNA, first of all, this is your entire DNA. Can all of you see the DNA, students? See here. I hope all of you can see the DNA first of all. This is the DNA first of all. This is the entire double stranded DNA. इस DNA के अंदर ना सारा का सारा information store होता है. सारा the way you look, your height, the way you talk, the ear, eye color, every single information is stored in this DNA. इस DNA के अंदर सारा का सारा information होता है. ठीक है? Now students, इस DNA को हम क्या करते हैं? Packaging करते हैं. इस तरह से. This entire DNA is now packed around a positive charge protein called as histone protein. Histone protein के around DNA को coil करते हैं. उसके बाद इस तरह से न्यूक्लियोसोम बनता है. इसको हम न्यूक्लियोसोम कहते हैं. Now उसके बाद DNA पैकेजिंग बन रहा है. पैकेजिंग. उसके बाद एक थ्रेड की तरह बनता है. This entire thread is called as chromatin. Entire thread is also called as what? Chromatin. और इस तरह से पूरा का पूरा स्टूडेंट्स, इस तरह से पूरा का पूरा DNA एक क्रोमोसोम की तरह से रहता है. Now in your examination students, they can ask you students, in the case of eukaryotic cell, entire DNA is present in the form of chromosome. So if I ask you a question right now, एक क्रोमोसोम के अंदर क्या पाया जाता है? What is your answer students? What is present inside a chromosome, or what is chromosome made up of? Who can tell me students? Chromosome is made up of chromatin, and chromatin is made up of DNA. So all of you have an idea right now in the cell, in the entire eukaryotic cell, where we can find the DNA. Tell me yes or no students in the chat. All of you have some idea right now. Tell me yes or no quickly. Students, quickly tell me in the chat. All of you have some idea right now. एक सेल के अंदर DNA कहां पर होता है? न्यूक्लियस के अंदर होता है. न्यूक्लियस के अंदर, और न्यूक्लियस के अंदर किस तरह से होता है? In the form of chromosome. So entire DNA is present in the form of chromosome inside the nucleus. न्यूक्लियस के अंदर DNA पाया जाता है. Clear students? ठीक है? Beautiful. Nice. Now students, now we go to the next concept. Slowly we'll go students. Slowly we'll go. Now let's understand what is the difference between a plant cell and animal cell. Now I'll ask all of you a simple question. Who can tell me students, in the case of plant cell, do I have cell wall? Do you think we find in the case of plant cell? Yes. In the case of plant cell, the cell wall is present here. But what about in the case of animal cell? Cell wall is absent here. Cell wall is absent. Now, what about students, in the case of your plant cell, do you find something called as plastid? One example is chloroplast, obviously. Do you find plastid here? Yes, we can find plastid here. But in the case of animal cell, plastid is absent here. Okay, done. Now, what about students, vacuole? Do you find vacuole in the case of plant cell and animal cell? Yes, vacuole is found in the case of plant cell and animal cell. But there is a small difference here. The small difference is that in the case of plant cell, we have a very large vacuole. Very large vacuole can be present here, and this large vacuole, students, usually is present in the center. Here we can find normal size vacuole. Can be found here. Normal size vacuole. Now, apart from this, students, in the case of animal cell, we have something called a centrosome. Now, this centrosome is completely absent in the case of plant cell. This is the basic difference between plant cell and animal cell. इतना सब लोगों को याद होना चाहिए. Now students, I'll ask you all of you one simple question right now. Okay? The question is, in between this cell and this cell, who can tell me students, which one is a plant cell? Is A the plant cell or B the plant cell? Quickly in the chat students. Which one is a plant cell? Who can tell me? जल्दी से बताइए students, जल्दी से बताइए. Not really, there is no much exception in the basic structure. In basic structure पे थोड़ा difference होता है नहीं, पर this is the main difference in your plant cell and animal cell. Now students, who can tell me which one is a plant cell in this, A or B? Quick. Which one is a plant cell, students? Who can tell me? Now, some of you are saying, sir, A is the plant cell, B is the animal cell. Why, students? Because can all of you see, students, first of all, the first thing which you need to observe here is that here we can find chloroplast. Yes, chloroplast is here. That is a type of plastid done. Now, we can also find here cell wall here. Cell wall can be found here. Apart from students, you can see very large central vacuole here, large central vacuole here, large central vacuole. तो ये बन गया हमारा प्लांट सेल यहाँ पर. और इस तरफ से देखो, if you look at the part B1, the second one here, यहाँ पर आपको ये दिखने नहीं मिलेगा. You cannot find any chloroplast here. You cannot find any kind of cell wall here. नहीं है यहाँ पर यहाँ पर स्टूडेंट्स आप गौर से देखोगे तो you can find here something called as centrioles here. Centrioles. And the centrioles is actually part of centrosome. It is part of centrosome. So centrioles is part of centrosome. यहाँ पर उसको छोड़ के almost दोनों equal है यहाँ पर, दोनों के दोनों equal है. Now students, I'll show you one more diagram of your cell here. Who can tell me, students, is this plant cell or animal cell? Quick students, quick in the chat. Is this plant cell or animal cell? Quickly in the chat. Who can tell me? Plant cell or animal cell? Quick again. See, यहाँ पर आपका है सेंटर में न्यूक्लियस है, यहाँ पर न्यूक्लियस है, यहाँ पर ठीक है, न्यूक्लियस है यहाँ पर, और यहाँ पर न्यूक्लियोपोर, यहाँ पर आएगा पूरा एंटायर एंडोप्लाज्मिक रेटिकुलम आएगा यहाँ पर है गोल्जी बॉडी. And if you can notice this, student, this right here is a large central vacuole, and this is a typical plant cell. And if you can notice again, students, here we have something called as cell wall भी present है यहाँ पर, cell wall भी present है. So we can confidently tell, yes sir, this right here is a typical plant cell. Students, any doubt till now, students? किसी को कुछ डाउट है यहाँ जल्दी से बताइए. Any doubt till now, students? Any doubt till now? पता नहीं आज मेरा बोर्ड कुछ काम नहीं कर रहा ठीक तरह से, पता नहीं बोर्ड पे लैग आ रहा है, बहुत सारा लैग आ रहा है. What is this lag? Okay, no, that is a basic difference. Now let's understand the structure of cell membrane now. Sir, what is the function of centrosome? Centrosome helps in cell division. I will teach you there's something called as cell division. Okay, किस तरह से एक सेल डिवाइड करता है. When a cell is trying to divide, right, it produces something called as spindle fibers. इस स्पिंडल फाइबर्स है ना, वो सेंट्रोसोम से निकलते हैं, ठीक है, सेंट्रोसोम से निकलते हैं सारे के सारे. Now students, let's come to the cell wall now, or plasma membrane. Shall we start, students? Shall we start? All of you in the chat, can we start? Okay. Now first things first about cell membrane or plasma membrane. First things first. Okay. Here I want all of you to understand, ये पूरा को पूरा plasma membrane और cell membrane, it is completely asymmetrical. It is completely, ये पेन काम क्यों नहीं कर रहा आज, बोर्ड काम नहीं कर रहा, पता नहीं क्यों आज. It is going to be asymmetrical. लिख. Oh God. पता नहीं बोर्ड काम नहीं क्यों कर रहा आज. It is going to be asymmetrical in nature. Asymmetrical. Now, apart from students, the entire plasma membrane is going to be living in nature. It is living, yes. Unlike cell wall, it is not dead. It is living in nature. It is also, students, it is said to be mosaic in nature. Mosaic in nature. Now some of you like, sir, what is the meaning of mosaic? The meaning of mosaic is that it is going to be completely random. It is going to be random. Now what do I mean by random? Understand all of you. Students, how many of you seen this, right? Yeah, board. I don't know what is happening to the board. Students, first of all, how many of you seen this in your house? Like बहुत पुराने घर में ना, बहुत पुराने घर में इस तरह से आपको you might have seen such flooring. ये floor है ना, जो घर का floor है ना, नीचे वाला. Most of the floors have this pattern here, right? Now, can anyone tell me here? Can you identify? Is there any pattern here? किसी तरह का pattern दिख रहा है यहाँ पर? जल्दी से बताओ, students, जल्दी से बताओ मेरे को. Do you see any kind of pattern here? I do not see any pattern here. किसी तरह से भी pattern दिख ही नहीं रहा यहाँ पर. Okay? ये पुराने घर में होता था. This is called as mosaic. This is called as mosaic thing. इसका मतलब क्या है स्टूडेंट? मोसाइक का मतलब है रैंडम. मोसाइक का मतलब है रैंडम. सो यो हमारा सेल मेम्ब्रेन और प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन इज कंप्लीटली रैंडम. नाउ स्टूडेंट्स, लेट मी टेक यू वन स्मॉल आइडिया. ओके, हाउ टू रिमेंबर दिस. नाउ स्टूडेंट्स, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू नो हाउ टू राइड अ बाइक और बाइसाइकिल? हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू नो? रेज योर हैंड्स क्विकली इन द चैट. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू नो हाउ टू राइड अ बाइसाइकिल और अ बाइक? ओके, yeah. Exactly, asymmetrical only. Random, mosaic, random also means asymmetrical itself. Now, how many of you know how to ride a bicycle? Okay, if you know how to ride a bicycle, right, or like a bike, if you're riding a bike also in future, if you ride a bike or a car, If you go on the road, students, especially Indian roads, okay, especially Indian roads, when you're traveling by the Indian road, is the road very smooth? Tell me in the chat. Do you think the road is very smooth road, like you're going without any hump? No. In Indian road, what is happening? Suddenly one hump is there, one depression, hump, depression. Suddenly, one randomly, one pothole is there. One gadda hoga, kahin pe gadda hoga. So, that is your entire cell membrane or plasma membrane is inspired completely from our Indian roads. Let me show you now one more time. Let me show you something, students. Not at all. Exactly, right? Exactly. Not at all. Now, students, let me show you an entire structure of the cell membrane. इस तरह से the entire cell membrane looks like. Can all of you students? This is the cell membrane or plasma membrane. Now, you can notice here, students, you can notice here, it is like your Indian roads. It is like the Indian roads. You'll be going randomly, one hump will come, one depression, one hump, one more hump, one more hump. So this is just similar to Indian roads. It is completely random. It is completely random in nature. It is going to be completely random in nature. Now I want all of you to focus on one main thing here. What is cell membrane made up of? The entire cell membrane, students, is mostly made up of something called as lipids. It is made up of what, students? Lipids. This entire thing, can all of you see, students? ये दिख रहा है ना, round सारे के सारे. This entire thing is called as lipid. और यहाँ पर lipid है, एक layer में नहीं है, वो दो layer में lipid है. So this is also called as bilipid layer. Bi मतलब क्या है? दो. Lipid मतलब ये molecule यहाँ पर. Lipid is a biomolecule. Lipid is a biomolecule. कैसे प्रोटीन होता है, प्रोटीन, कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स होते हैं ना, उसी तरह से लिपिड भी एक बायोमोलिक्यूल है. एंड दिस एंटायर सेल मेम्ब्रेन इज मेड अप ऑफ व्हाट, स्टूडेंट्स? एंटायर सेल मेम्ब्रेन इज मेड अप ऑफ लिपिड बाई लेयर. दो लेयर है यहां पर लिपिड के, यहां ऊपर एक लेयर और नीचे एक लेयर. तो दो लिपिड लेयर है यहां पर. सो इट इज आल्सो कॉल्ड एज व्हाट? लिपिड बाई लेयर इन नेचर. लिपिड बाई लेयर इन नेचर. ओके. All phospholipid also we can tell it, I'll teach you later on what is phospholipid. No, I can't teach you what is phospholipid. Okay. So इतना याद रखना पड़ेगा. Entire lipid layer is going to be bilipid layer here. Okay. Now students, one more question arises. What is cell membrane made up of apart from lipid? Lipid को छोड़ के किस चीज से बना है हमारा entire cell membrane? Students, I want all of you to pray for the board to work, students. थोड़ा एक pray कर दो. I don't know what has happened to the board today. कुछ लिख नहीं पा रहा यहाँ पर मैं बोर्ड के ऊपर. Okay. Now what is it made up of, students? I told you lipid, it is made up of lipid. इतना सबको पता है. लिपिड को छोड़ के यहां पर it is also made up of proteins. हाँ, यहाँ पर प्रोटीन्स होते हैं. Made up of proteins. It is also made up of, students, it is also made up of carbohydrates. लिख जा. Carbohydrates. Also made up of carbohydrates. Also made up of some form of water is present, and also some very little cholesterol also. Very little cholesterol also is present. So if someone asks you in examination what is plasma membrane or cell membrane made up of, you should be able to tell, sir, it is made up of lipids, proteins, carbohydrates, water and cholesterol. That is what is the main composition of the entire lipid bilayer. Okay? And it is completely random. It is said to be completely random, and it is also students, it is also semi-solid in nature. Semi-solid in nature, students. एक मिनट लिख जा. It is semi-solid. It is also called as quasi-fluid in nature. Now, पता नहीं बोर्ड क्या हो गया आज, पूरा शगुन हो गया, लिख नहीं पा रहे यहाँ पर आज. Quasi-fluid in nature. समझो अभी. What is the meaning of quasi-fluid? समझो. Students, can all of you swim in solid matter? Can all of you swim in solid matter? Not possible. All of you can swim in liquid matter. All of you can swim in liquid matter. You can swim in water. Okay. Now there are certain substances which are semi-solid. I'll give you a very best example to understand the structure of the lipid bilayer. All of you know what is jelly? How many of you eat in jelly, students? How many of you eat in jelly? Yes. Yes. Protein मतलब पता नहीं क्या? Yes, it is there. All of you know what is jelly? Jelly पता है ना? Jelly खाया होगा ना? ये छोटे छोटे आते हैं jelly, 2 रुपए के, पता नहीं 5 रुपए हो गए, पता नहीं. All of you know what is jelly? Tell me yes or no at least, students. If you know what is jelly, otherwise I have to show you what is the jelly now. You don't know what is jelly? इस तरह से आते हैं, छोटे छोटे पैकेट में आते हैं, छोटे छोटे पैकेट में आते हैं, और इट विल बी वेरी, इट विल नॉट बी वेरी लिक्विड ऑल्सो, इट विल नॉट बी सॉलिड ऑल्सो, इट इज सेमी सॉलिड इन नेचर, इट इज समवॉट सेमी सॉलिड इन नेचर। खाया ना तुमने? हाँ। सो ये पूरा को पूरा लिपिड बायलेयर है ना, इट इज ऑल्सो सेमी सॉलिड इन नेचर, इट इज सेमी सॉलिड इन नेचर। ठीक है, अब आपको यहां पर समझना पड़ेगा कि हाउ इज द स्ट्रक्चर नाउ। दिस इज द एंटायर मेम्ब्रेन, इतना सबको पता है। दिस एंटायर मेम्ब्रेन इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज फॉस्फोलिपिड बायलेयर, लिपिड बायलेयर ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज फॉस्फोलिपिड बायलेयर। नाउ आपको समझना पड़ेगा कि व्हाई इज इट कॉल्ड एज फॉस्फोलिपिड बायलेयर, क्योंकि यहां पर इस बायलेयर पे है ना, इट ऑल्सो हैज एन एलिमेंट कॉल्ड एज फॉस्फेट, यहां पर फॉस्फेट एलिमेंट भी होता है इस लिपिड के पास, दैट इज व्हाई इट्स कॉल्ड एज फॉस्फोलिपिड बायलेयर, दिस एंटायर थिंग इज कॉल्ड फॉस्फोलिपिड बायलेयर। नाउ यहां पर एक एक को जूम करेंगे, देखेंगे अभी व्हाट इज प्रेजेंट इन वन लिपिड। नाउ एक लिपिड के पास यहां पर एक है सर और एक टेल है, ठीक है। दिस हेड इज कॉल्ड एज पोलर हेड, मतलब दिस इज कॉल्ड एज हाइड्रोफिलिक इन नेचर। मतलब समझो व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ हाइड्रोफिलिक। हाइड्रोफिलिक मतलब वाटर लविंग, हाइड्रो मतलब वाटर, फिलिक मतलब क्या है, फिलिक मतलब लविंग। All of you are chocolate philic, right? You love chocolates, so you love chocolates. Chocophilic in nature, ठीक है। Chocophilic और hydro means पानी, philic means loving. So this entire head is water loving in nature. और जो tail है ना, tail, this entire tail is called as non-polar tail, also called as hydrophobic in nature. मतलब क्या है? Phobic मतलब hating और डर लगना। Hydrophobic मतलब इसको पानी से डर लगता है, इसको पानी से डर लगता है, दैट इज नॉन पोलर टेल, हाइड्रोफोबिक इन नेचर, दिस इज हाइड्रोफिलिक इन नेचर। इतना समझ सकते हो स्टूडेंट्स? ऑल ऑफ यू अंडरस्टूड दिस मच? स्टूडेंट्स, ऑल ऑफ यू अंडरस्टूड व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स chocophilic? एग्जैक्टली, chocophilic means you love chocolates, chocophilic means you love chocolates। इसी तरह से यहां का पूरा लिपिड बायलेयर है ना, दिस एंटायर हेड इज कॉल्ड एज पोलर हेड, मतलब इसको पानी पसंद है, इसको जो टेल है ना, इसको नॉन पोलर है टेल, और हाइड्रोफोबिक इन नेचर, मतलब इसको पानी समझ नहीं आता, पानी, इट डजंट लाइक वाटर, इट डजंट लाइक वाटर। सिंपल स्टूडेंट, सिंपल, ओके। पोलर, ठीक है, पोलर मतलब बेसिकली लविंग इन नेचर, इतना याद रखो। स्टूडेंट्स, यू विल लर्न व्हाट इज पोलर मॉलिक्यूल, व्हाट इज अ पोलर मॉलिक्यूल, यू विल लर्न व्हाट इज अ पोलर, नॉन पोलर इन केमिस्ट्री मोर डिटेल। अगर आपको मैं केमिस्ट्री पढ़ाते बैठ जाऊं तो बहुत लेट हो जाएगा यहां पर, ठीक है। सो फॉर नाउ यू रिमेंबर स्टूडेंट्स, ये सर है ना, दिस एंटायर हेड लव्स वाटर, tail does not like water. Now students, आप समझो यहां पर, now this is the entire lipid bilayer, entire lipid bilayer students. Now in this entire lipid bilayer students, can I make things pass through it easily? शायद से यहां पर सोचो, अगर मैं किसी तरह का पोलर मॉलिक्यूल पकड़ूंगा मैं यहां पर, एक let's take, I take a polar molecule, let's take one, I take one polar molecule now, okay, can the polar molecule pass through this now? Not possible। अगर एक पोलर मॉलिक्यूल को यहां से यहां पर जाना पड़ेगा तो इट कैन नॉट पास थ्रू, इट विल नॉट अलाउ, दिस लिपिड बायलेयर विल नॉट अलाउ। दैट इज व्हाई वी कॉल स्टूडेंट्स द एंटायर लिपिड लेयर इज कॉल्ड एज सेलेक्टिवली परमिएबल। मतलब क्या है? इट विल सेलेक्टिवली अलाउ थिंग्स टू पास थ्रू, क्योंकि एक सेल के पास दिस एंटायर सेल मेम्ब्रेन इज अ आउटर कवरिंग, दिस विल नॉट अलाउ एनीथिंग रैंडमली टू एंटर इनसाइड, it will allow only a few things to allow inside, and because of this is that's the reason it is called as selectively permeable nature, it is selectively permeable nature। socho now students, your birthday is coming, let's say, will you invite your entire class for your birthday treat? No, you will only call home, you will only call your close friends into the party, you will not call everyone। Similarly, this entire lipid bilayer will not allow anyone to go inside like how you are, it will allow only a few things, it will allow only a few molecules to pass through, सबको invite नहीं है यहां पर, ठीक है। that is why it's called as selectively permeable। selective permeable मतलब क्या है? permeable मतलब passing, so यहां पर selectively it will send some things out। all of you understood? all of you understood? okay, now this is how it looks like, this is how it looks like student, this is how it looks like, entire lipid bilayer दिख रहा है? लिपिड बायलेयर स्टूडेंट्स। नाउ दिस इज अ मॉडल हियर, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज योर स्टूडेंट, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज योर फ्लूइड मोसाइक मॉडल स्टूडेंट, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज व्हाट? फ्लूइड मोसाइक मॉडल, ओके, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज, एंटायर थिंग इज कॉल्ड एज फ्लूइड मोसाइक मॉडल, okay। this entire fluid mosaic model was given by Singer Nicholson, It was given by Singer and Nicholson. Fluid mosaic model. दिख रहा है यहां पर सबको? दिख रहा है यहां पर? This is the entire lipids here. Entire lipids are present here. Lipids are present here. Now students, यहां पर दो तरह के प्रोटीन में होते हैं. There are two types of proteins here. One is called as intrinsic proteins. One is called as extrinsic protein. मतलब समझो. Now students, all of you tell me in the chat right now. Let's do one simple experiment. Okay, let's do a simple experiment. Let's take, I have a roll here. Okay, let's take, I have a paper here which I will roll now. Okay. Now all of you tell me in the chat, students, if I take this pen and I keep it inside all the way till the inside here. Now, is it difficult to remove the pen or easy to remove the pen? Tell me in the chat. Very difficult to remove the pen, or I can barely remove the pen. Very difficult to remove the pen. Now, what if I keep the pen somewhere like this? Now tell me. Now easily I can remove the pen. Easily I can remove the pen. That is called as ease of extraction. कितने easy तरह से आप पूरे के पूरे पेन को निकाल सकते हो. Based on the same concept, here we have two types of protein. First type of protein is completely present on the inside. देख रहे हो? ये पूरा का पूरा प्रोटीन अंदर की तरफ है. यहां पर पूरा का प्रोटीन अंदर है. Yes, this entire protein is present on the inside. Very difficult to remove. This is called as integral protein. Integral protein पूरा का पूरा अंदर रहता है यहां पर. ठीक है? Now, this is called as extrinsic protein. बाहर की तरफ वाला प्रोटीन, ये वाला बाहर की तरफ है. This can be easily removed now. We can pull it out. So based on the ease of extraction, कितने easy तरह से हम पूरे का पूरा प्रोटीन को निकाल सकते हैं बाहर. We have two types. One is called as intrinsic, extrinsic. बाहर की तरफ, अंदर की तरफ. It is also called as integral protein. Is that clear, students? इतना clear सबको? जल्दी से बताओ. Clear? Is it clear, students? Clear, students? Intrinsic, extrinsic protein. यहां पर देख रहे हो, यहां पर लिपिड बाइलेयर है. यहां पर शुगर इज नथिंग बट कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स है. यहां पर कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स है. This is called as fluid mosaic model. Now, why is it called as fluid mosaic? समझो. Understand. Why is it called as mosaic? All of you know. Can anyone remind me why do we call it mosaic model? It's called as mosaic model because it's very random. We have protein somewhere. We have again carbohydrates. We have lipid bilayer, cholesterol somewhere, right? And we have lipid bilayer. So it is random in nature, asymmetrical nature. That is why I'm calling it as mosaic. Because it is very random in nature. But इसको हम fluid क्यों बता रहे हैं? Why are we calling it fluid model? Why? Students, can you swim in the fluid? Can all of you swim in fluid? Yes, we can. Can you move in the fluid? Yes, you can. Let's take all of you are in the swimming pool now. Can you move inside the swimming pool? Let's say I will take Abhinav and I will take all of you and put in swimming pool. Can you move in the swimming pool? Yes, you can. Similarly, how you can move in the swimming pool? आप swimming pool के अंदर move कर सकते हो ना? इसी तरह से यहां पर इस fluid mosaic model में the molecules can move inside. This protein can move inside. This lipid bilayer can also move inside. That is why it's called as, students, fluid mosaic model. Fluid mosaic model given by Singer and Nicholson. All right, for students. मैं लिख नहीं कर रहा, मुझे बोर्ड काम नहीं पता नहीं क्यों बोर्ड काम नहीं कर रहा. Singer and Nicholson, and this model was given in 1972. So Singer and Nicholson model. It's called as Singer. So there's nothing to refresh here. I don't know why. So it's called as Singer and Nicholson model क्योंकि यहाँ पर movement हो सकता है. ठीक है? Singer and Nicholson model. Now students, समझो किस तरह से movement है यहाँ पर. Now students, yes, his name is only Singer and Nicholson. The two scientists, Singer and Nicholson, last name. It is a last name. किस तरह से तुम्हारा शायद से like we have Butt. Butt is the last name. Then we have mine last name is Shirgumpi. So we have a last name, right? So Singer and Nicholson are the last names of two scientists here. Okay. What a name exactly. Singer and Nicholson. Nicholson also. See, look at the name Nicholson. Students, trust me when I teach you evolution, no, or if I teach you plant physiology, there is a scientist name called as T.W. Engelmann, Carl Cons. Okay. and there is scientist name as Priestley, Joseph Priestley. There are so many different scientist names, you'll find them funny. Okay, don't worry, there are many scientist names. Now there are two types of movement here. Understand, all of you understand, there are two types of movements here. I told you, students, here I told you, students, there are two types of movements here. In this entire lipid bilayer, things can move around. The first movement is called as flip-flop movement. Flip-flop movement. Samjho what is flip-flop movement, all of you. Let's take here, we have lipid bilayer. Students, let's see, we have here lipid bilayer is present here. Okay. Understand what happens in flip-flop movement. Patience. पता नहीं क्या हो गया आज. Now, what exactly happens in flip-flop movement? Flip-flop movement के अंदर ना, ये वाला है ना, ये लिपिड ये इस तरफ चला जाएगा और ये वाला लिपिड बाइलेयर इस तरफ आ जाएगा. So flip-flop movement, that is called as flip-flop movement. That is called, students, not active-passive. Active-passive will come later on. Right now I'm telling you why is it called as fluid model. It is called as fluid model because it can show some form of movement inside. Okay, flip-flop movement. Okay, now second movement is called as lateral movement. Second movement is called as lateral movement. Samjho what is lateral movement now. What is lateral movement? Students, I'll draw it here only with this diagram only. Understand here. Let's take, I have protein here. यहाँ पर एक प्रोटीन रखा है मैंने. समझो मैंने यहाँ पर एक प्रोटीन रखा है, यहाँ पर मैंने अभी प्रोटीन, यहाँ पर एक प्रोटीन रखा है मैंने, ठीक है, प्रोटीन. Now this protein right here, right? This protein right here, we can move laterally. इस तरफ मूव कर सकता है और इस तरफ मूव कर सकता है. समझो मैं एक प्रोटीन हूं, समझो एक मैं प्रोटीन हूं, ठीक है. ये प्रोटीन मॉलिक्यूल साइडवेज ऐसे मूव कर सकता है, साइडवेज. So this protein can move sideways also. That is called as a lateral movement. That is called as lateral movement, sideways movement. Understand, students? This lateral movement is only showed by proteins. Only showed by proteins. Okay, proteins can be shown. No, even lipids can show actually. Lipids can also show. Okay, this flip-flop movement only lipids. Only lipids. So this is called as flip-flop movement. This is called as lateral movement. Lateral movement. So two types of movements. That is why it is called as quasi-fluid in nature. It is called as quasi-fluid because it has liquid-like property, but it is also solid at the same time. So this is called as semi-solid property of your lipid bilayer. All of you understood, students? All of you understood? Tell me yes or no in the chat quickly, students. All of you tell me yes or no in the chat quickly. Why is it called as lipid bilayer? Is called as, why is lipid bilayer called as quasi-fluid? Because it has liquid and solid property both. All of you got it? What are the functions here? Movement of proteins, endocytosis. Students, I'll teach you what is endocytosis when I'm teaching you lysosomes. Okay, cell division, secretion, formation of intercellular junctions. So all of these are functions of proteins. Functions of lipid bilayer. Functions of lipid bilayer, students. Now again, I'll give you a small revision what we learned till now, students. Again, all of these concepts are very easy to understand if you have a little visualization. Okay, let me show you again the diagram. Here, can all of you see, students? Here we can see lipid bilayer. This is the entire lipid bilayer here. Entire lipid bilayer. This is the entire cell membrane or plasma membrane. Here we can see proteins here. Proteins. Now this hydrophobic, right? Hydrophilic head, hydrophobic tail, right? And here this entire thing is lipid bilayer. Entire thing is lipid bilayer. This lipid bilayer present. Lipid bilayer. This is a top view. You can see all the lipids are arranged together. It is going to be asymmetrical in nature. It is going to be random in nature, and also it can show movement inside. It is semi-solid in nature because it can also has fluid property. It can, some things can flow inside. Okay, there can be movement can be seen here. Movement can be seen here, students. Some form of movement can be seen here. No. Now students, across cell membrane there is also movement. Like for example, यहाँ पर हमारा एक membrane है. इस बाहर से, I'll just go back to the diagram. Let's say I have membrane here. दिस इज माई मेम्ब्रेन हियर. यहां से एक मॉलिक्यूल ट्रांसपोर्ट होके इस तरफ अंदर आना है. लेट्स से दिस इज द आउटर पार्ट आउटसाइड एंड दिस इज इनसाइड राइट नाउ. आउटसाइड एंड इनसाइड. सो बाहर से अगर एक मॉलिक्यूल अंदर आना पड़ेगा तो हाउ कैन इट ट्रैवल इनसाइड? लाइक हाउ कैन इट इवन एंटर इनसाइड? फ्रॉम आउटसाइड टू इनसाइड, हाउ कैन वन मॉलिक्यूल एंटर नाउ? हाउ इज इट पॉसिबल? Now there are many two methods here. There are two methods by which a molecule on the outside can enter inside. Now what are the two ways? Understand students. There is something called as active transport and passive transport. Understand. What is the difference? Now students, tell me where you from, all of you, first of all. Students, I can give you a better example if I know where you're from. If you are anywhere in Mumbai, how many of you gone to Mumbai? How many of you gone to Mumbai, students? Okay, it happens even in Bangalore also. It happens. Okay. When you go stand, when the bus comes, let's say when bus is coming, bus came now. Okay. And you are standing near the bus. You don't have to use any energy. When there is a large crowd, automatically you will be inside the bus. तुमको धक्का दे दे के, you'll be pushed inside the bus. So without even you trying to go inside the bus, they will push you and you'll go inside the bus, and next thing you know, you're sitting inside the bus. You don't even know how you came inside. That is called as your passive transport. In passive transport, you don't have to use energy. Energy use करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है यहाँ पर. Automatically you'll be pushed inside like a bus. Okay. Now what about active transport? In active transport, you have to use energy. यहाँ पर energy use करना पड़ेगा. Now difference you understand. So no energy needed here. Along the concentration मतलब क्या है? Let's say बस के अंदर, राइट, बस के अंदर एम्प्टी है पूरा, बस के अंदर कुछ नहीं है, बस के अंदर सीट सारे के सारे एम्प्टी है एंड नथिंग इज प्रेजेंट इनसाइड द बस. नाउ वेयर इज हाई कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ पीपल? हाई कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ पीपल इज वेयर? आउटसाइड द बस. सो फ्रॉम इट विल ऑलवेज गो फ्रॉम हाई कंसंट्रेशन टू लो कंसंट्रेशन. जहां पर क्राउड ज्यादा है ना, वहां से लेस क्राउड के पास घुसेगा. ठीक है. सो ऑलवेज हैपेंस फ्रॉम हाई कंसंट्रेशन टू लो कंसंट्रेशन. नाउ there is something called as osmosis. You might have heard about osmosis. Osmosis also is a type of passive transport. क्या होता है osmosis में? समझो. Osmosis में पानी मूव करता है. Water is moving from high concentration to low concentration. Water is moving. That is also called as osmosis. Movement of water from the high concentration to low concentration. Now, what is active transport here? Active transport में you cannot go as such. You need to use energy. यहाँ पर energy use करना पड़ेगा. And you are going from low concentration to high concentration now. Low concentration to high concentration. आपको एक simple example बोलता हूँ, समझो. Let's take you are trying to visit a friend's house. अब friend के घर जा रहे हो, ठीक है? I don't know if it happens to you. It has to happen with me also. Okay. When I'm going to call my friend to play, I used to not go alone. I used to take one more friend to go to call one more friend. So we used to make one gang and go call everyone. I used to never go alone. If I go alone, then mother will say, go. I will not allow you. So if I'm trying to go, let's say I am here. Let's say I am A. I will call my one more friend. I will call one more friend to call one more friend. Okay, to call one more friend. So what is to happen is when we go in a group, the parents used to allow them to play. Now same thing is happening inside active transport. Active transport में the molecule cannot travel alone. अकेले नहीं जा सकता ये अंदर. So this molecule, right? This polar molecule cannot travel on its own. Polar molecule अंदर नहीं आ सकता. इसको entry नहीं है. Polar molecule को entry ही नहीं है यहाँ पर. तो क्या करेगा polar molecule? अभी polar molecule उसके दोस्त को बुलाएगा. Who is a friend here? The friend here is carrier protein. So ये carrier protein इसको गोद में बिठा के अंदर लेके जाएगा. That is a simple concept, students. So in the case of active transport, what is happening? The polar molecule cannot enter inside. So what is it doing? This polar molecule plus carrier protein both together will use ATP, will travel against the concentration gradient, that is low concentration to high concentration, they will travel. All of you understood, students? All of you understood? What is passive transport, active transport? Passive transport is automatically you're going inside. Active transport, you need energy, you need a friend here. This molecule cannot go on its own. Clear students? Clear all of you? Difference clear सबको? जल्दी से स्टूडेंट जल्दी से बताइए मेरे को. Difference is clear all of you between active transport and passive transport? Clear? All of you. Clear or not? Tell me quickly in the chat, all of you. Yes, clear. Now students. Now today's next concept. Water is a polar molecule, students. There are many molecules many molecules are there. One of the biggest example is polar molecule. Students, do you want to know there is an exception here again? Even the water molecule is a polar molecule, it cannot travel on its own, but still water can enter inside. Water doesn't require a carrier protein. Even water is a polar molecule, it does not require a carrier protein. It can enter without it. How? Okay. Students, all of you might have noticed, right? In your there's one special friend is there always. There's one special friend is there. This friend will automatically, without anyone's, if no one is calling also, they will come inside your house and sit in your house and eat all the snacks, talk to your mother, complain to your mother only. There's one friend like that. No, that one friend is water here. Water may be polar molecule. Water may be polar molecule, but it can enter easily. How, students? How understand here? Because students, here water के पास यहाँ पर एक separate, there will be something called as aquaporine here. There is something called as aquaporine. Because of aquaporins, water molecules can enter very easily. They don't require any extra help here. So this water is like a polar molecule which can enter easily. On special friend here. It can enter very easily. Can enter inside water because of aquaporine, students. Exactly. How can water enter inside? This is how water can enter inside because of aquaporins. So there are certain exceptions everywhere. Okay, good you ask me. Otherwise, I would have not told you because this I usually don't tell to NEET students also. But I thought I'll skip it. But then since you asked the doubt, I will answer it. Okay, so aquaporins, water can enter inside easily, or this way, whichever direction is possible. Okay, now students. Now we come to cell wall. Now the first thing which you need to answer all of you is cell wall present in the case of animal? Tell me yes or no. This cell wall, students, is it present in the case of animals? Tell me yes or no quickly in the chat. Do you find cell wall in the case of animals? No. It is found only in the case of plants. Plants here. In the case of plants and certain euglenoids also. There is something called as euglenoids. In the case of euglenoids also you can find cell wall here. In the case of bacteria also you find cell wall, but bacteria wall is different. That is made up of peptidoglycan here. Okay, but let's not take the Monera right now because prokaryotic cell. In eukaryotic cell there is certain euglenoids which also have cell wall. Euglenoids come under protista. They also have cell wall. So let me write for you. Okay. Now students, can anyone tell me, students, it is the outermost layer? Yes, it is the outermost layer. It is the outermost layer. Okay, it is present. Outermost layer done. Plant cell, it is dead. It is going to be completely dead in nature. Unlike cell membrane, it is completely dead in nature. It is going to be completely rigid. Rigid मतलब क्या है? It means it is not flexible. It is very hard. It is very strong and very hard. It will not bend. Basically, it's like a metal scale. It is like a metal scale, very rigid, metal scale, very rigid in nature. Okay, that is a cell wall, entire cell wall. Now, what is cell wall made up of? Right? What is cell wall made up of? In the case of algae, what is made up of? In the case of algae, it is made up of cellulose, galactans, mannans, calcium carbonate. All of these are different types of your molecules. In the case of plants, it is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectins. In the case of fungus, it is made up of chitin. This, students, this you have to remember. Students. Okay, this you have to remember, students. Yes, except animals, everyone has cell wall. Except animal kingdom, everyone has cell wall here. Okay, so in the case of plant kingdom also, we can see here algae and plants, they have cellulose, hemicellulose and pectins. In the case of fungus, it is made up of chitin. This is a very famous question. That is, fungi has chitin. Okay, fungi has chitin layer. Okay. Now students, understand, there is actually two types of cell wall here. दो तरह के सेल वॉल है यहां पर. ओके, नाउ ऑल ऑफ यू इनिशियली ऑल ऑफ यू वर इन प्राइमरी, उसके बाद आप सेकेंडरी में आए ना, उसके बाद आप सेकेंडरी में आए. इन प्राइमरी क्लास देन सेकेंडरी क्लास, यहां पर भी इसी तरह से दो तरह के सेल वॉल होते हैं. द फर्स्ट सेल वॉल इज कॉल्ड एज प्राइमरी सेल वॉल, जो बाहर की तरफ होता है. यहां पर बाहर की तरफ प्राइमरी सेल वॉल. ये प्राइमरी सेल वॉल है ना, यहां पर दिस प्राइमरी सेल वॉल इज प्रेजेंट इन यंग प्लांट्स. इट इज वेरी परमिएबल. मतलब क्या है? इट इज परमिएबल मतलब इट विल अलाउ थिंग्स टू एंटर इनसाइड. इट विल अलाउ थिंग्स टू एंटर इनसाइड. ठीक है. और उसके बाद जब प्लांट बड़ा होता है, लेट्स से द प्लांट इज ग्रोइंग, तो सेल इज आल्सो इवॉल्विंग. नाउ वंस इट इज इवॉल्विंग, क्या उसके बाद क्या होगा? देयर विल बी समथिंग कॉल्ड एज formation of secondary cell wall, and this secondary cell wall will be formation happening on the inside, on the inner side. बाहर की तरफ है प्राइमरी सेल वॉल, प्राइमरी सेल वॉल के अंदर की तरफ सेकेंडरी सेल वॉल बढ़ता है, सेकेंडरी सेल वॉल बनता है. स्टूडेंट्स, the secondary cell wall is non-elastic and non-permeable. ये प्राइमरी सेल वॉल की तरह नहीं है. ठीक है. जब तुम छोटे थे ना, you will believe everything. When you're in primary, you believe in everything. But when you come to secondary, you realize बहुत लोग झूठ बोलते हैं करके, बहुत लोग झूठ बोलते हैं. So जब here also primary cell wall is very permeable, secondary cell wall is non-elastic, non-permeable, and it is present in the later stage of plants life. Primary cell wall present in young plants. Now students, all of you tell me, okay, all of you tell me students, नहीं, this is not cell membrane. Cell wall में दो तरह के होते हैं. जब ये सेकेंडरी सेल वॉल बनेगा ना, ये प्राइमरी सेल वॉल निकल जाएगा बाहर वहां से. प्राइमरी सेल वॉल विल वैनिश, देन वी कैन हैव सेकेंडरी सेल वॉल. नाउ स्टूडेंट्स, लेट्स से आई हैव टू ड्रॉ टेरिशरी सेल वॉल. नाउ आई हैव टू ड्रॉ टेरिशरी सेल वॉल. अंदर की तरफ आएगा, बाहर की तरफ आएगा. ओके. नाउ देयर इज आल्सो टेरिशरी सेल वॉल ऑन द इनसाइड आल्सो. देयर विल बी फॉर्मेशन ऑफ टेरिशरी सेल वॉल ऑन द इनर साइड सेल वॉल. ठीक है. ठीक है स्टूडेंट्स. So this all three layers are all present as such. एक के बाद एक आते हैं. Like let's say we have usually tertiary cell wall is not present in general. There is mostly primary and secondary cell wall. Mostly primary cell wall पहले रहेगा. ठीक है. Now students, right now all of you in secondary right now, but also in primary no. From primary you came to secondary. You cannot go back to primary now. ठीक है. उसी तरह से primary cell wall के बाद secondary cell wall बनता है. And when we get secondary cell wall, primary cell wall is gone. Primary cell wall is gone. जब आप primary secondary आ गए ना, primary is gone now. You're no more primary class. You're in secondary class now. Similarly, we have something called as initially we have primary cell wall. Primary cell wall के बाद अंदर की तरफ secondary cell wall बनता है. Remember that much. Okay. उसके बाद secondary cell wall बनता है. Yes, students. Yes, I know my Hindi is very bad. What to do? Okay. All of you not even teaching me Hindi. What is this? It is your job to teach me Hindi. Huh? Students, it is a job to teach him Hindi. All of you told me, sir, I'll tell you one nice Hindi words. All of you not telling me now. And why are NEET students coming here? Why are the NEET students coming here now? All of you should go study NEET. This is for Junior Science Olympiad now. This is for Junior Science Olympiad, not for NEET students. समझो इस बात को अभी. So यहां पर है हमारा प्राइमरी सेल वॉल बाहर की तरफ, और अंदर की तरफ आएगा सेकेंडरी सेल वॉल हमारा. ठीक है. सेकेंडरी सेल वॉल अंदर की तरफ आएगा. उतना याद रखो, काफी है. दिख रहा है यहां पर? देखो यहां पर प्राइमरी सेल वॉल, अंदर की तरफ सेकेंडरी, टेरिशरी, उस तरह से बनते रहता है प्राइमरी सेकेंडरी सेल वॉल. ठीक है. प्राइमरी सेल वॉल बाहर की तरफ, अंदर की तरफ सेकेंडरी सेल वॉल है यहां पर. ठीक है. सेकेंडरी सेल वॉल. और सबसे अंदर क्या है? सेल मेम्ब्रेन और प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन सबसे अंदर है. सेल मेम्ब्रेन और प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन है. ठीक है. या टाटा बाय बाय कार्ड. ठीक है. अंदर की तरफ है सेल मेम्ब्रेन. अंदर की पूरा अंदर है ना. यहां पर आएगा हमारा सेल मेम्ब्रेन आएगा, या प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन आएगा. now students, I have to teach you one small concept right now. यहां पर there is something called as lamella. middle lamella क्या है समझो यहां पर. ठीक है. यहां पर हमारा let's say this is one plant cell. यहां पर और एक प्लांट सेल है. इस दो प्लांट सेल के बीच में ना एक गम होता है. ठीक है. और ग्लू, यू कैन कॉल इट ग्लू आल्सो. ओके. गम और ग्लू. ये प्लांट सेल और ये प्लांट सेल दोनों जुड़े होते हैं. तो मिडिल पार्ट है यहां पर जो बीच में ना, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज मिडिल लैमेला. बीच में क्या होता है? यहां पर मिडिल लैमेला होता है. एक प्लांट सेल और एक और प्लांट सेल के बीच में है मिडिल लैमेला. यहां पर है. ठीक है. मिडिल लैमेला. नाउ what is the difference between middle lamella and plasmodesmata? समझो यहाँ पर. Now before we go further, students, what is middle lamella made up of? This middle lamella made up of calcium pectate and magnesium pectate. Students, patience, students, patience. Board will work eventually. Black magic will do black magic. Okay. लिख जा. Calcium, students, are not right now, students. Forget it. I think the board is gone. Expired. All of you remember, students, calcium, students, I'll write and give you the notes later on. There is something called as calcium pectate and magnesium pectate. It is made up of. From this board, no. When you're trying to write something, if the board doesn't write, no, the whole flow goes away. Okay. So calcium pectate and magnesium pectate is present here in the middle lamella. Now, what is plasmodesmatal connection now? Understand the difference between middle lamella and plasmodesmata. Now, what is plasmodesmata is that यहाँ पर एक सेल है हमारे पास, यहाँ पर और एक सेल है. ये दोनों सेल के बीच में एक, let's say there is a small pipe है यहाँ पर. This cell and this cell has a small cytoplasmic connection. स्टूडेंट लिखना पड़ेगा सब कुछ. ये एकदम साइटो लिख रहा है. चल गया. साइटोप्लाज्मिक कनेक्शन. यहां पर दो साइटोप्लाज्म, ये वाला साइटोप्लाज्म और ये साइटोप्लाज्म दोनों कनेक्टेड है बीच में. दोनों क्या है? कनेक्टेड है बीच में. ठीक है. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज साइटोप्लाज्मिक कनेक्शन और प्लाज्मोडेस्मेटा. सो दिस इज ऑन द इनसाइड. जो मिडिल लैमेला है जो बाहर की तरफ है, एक से और एक और सेल के बीच में बना है, यहां पर बीच में बना है. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज मिडिल लैमेला, बीच में यहां पर. ठीक है. और ये है हमारा प्लाज्मोडेस्मेटा. प्लाज्मोडेस्मेटा इज गोना बी योर cytoplasmic connection. Okay. They can exchange anything. They can exchange nutrients. Nutrition कर सकते हैं. They can exchange proteins. They can exchange carbohydrates. कुछ भी exchange कर सकते हैं यहाँ पर. ठीक है. यहाँ पर एक पाइप बनी है यहाँ पर. That is called as plasmodesmata. Students. All of you quickly smash the like button. All of you quickly smash the like button. And if you're new, subscribe to the channel also. Okay, smash the like button. I want this video to grow really well. Okay. Now, students, I will not teach you in detail right now. I will give you introduction and detail I will do in the next class. Okay. Now, students, understand what is the meaning of endomembrane system. यहाँ तक हमने पढ़ा, we learnt about entire outer cell wall. We learnt about cell membrane. Now, अभी अंदर की तरफ ना, there is something called as endomembrane system. समझो what is endomembrane system यहाँ पर. Okay. Now, let's say in your class, do you have groups? तुम्हारे क्लास के अंदर ना, do you have groups? Let's say group, there are one group of friends who are back benchers, middle benchers, front bencher. There is one girls group, one more sports, people who play sports all the time. One sports group is there. In your class, you have a group, right? There is a group. Now, students, in this groups, right, what is common? All of the people in one group, right, they all have some kind of connection between them. All of them have, students, all of them have what? All of them have a connection among them. But they have connection. So inside the cell also, there is a group here. This group is called as what? Endomembrane system. And in this group, there are 4 members in this group. Every gamer loves victory. 4 members in this group. And all these 4 members are members are there, right? 4 people in this group. All of their functions are coordinated. Functions are coordinated here. Now, students, I'll tell you a small trick to remember this group now. Okay, what did you just say to remember the number? Okay, I'll tell you, students, what is the trick here. I'll tell you the trick how to remember them. Okay, I'll tell you a trick. Students, how many of you play games? Raise your hands. Students, how many of you play games? See, I play a lot of games. Personally, I love playing games. Okay, I love playing computer games. Okay, so I play something called as Marvel Rivals right now. I play something called as GTA 5. Sometimes when I play online, I play a lot of Valorant, CS:GO, right? So I play a lot of games, right? So every gamer loves victory, right? Every gamer loves victory. We love to win. We don't like to lose. I love winning in my games. I don't like to lose at all. Okay, so there is a small trick that is which I have made called as every gamer. So students, every gamer loves victory. Now what is the meaning here? Understand all of you. Here E for ER. Students, what is ER? ER is nothing but endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum. Endoplasmic reticulum. That is the first one, student. That is the first one. Now what is G? G for Golgi complex or Golgi apparatus. L for, students, please let it work. L for lysosomes. L for, students, this is not working today. This is not working, students. Give me a minute. Let me call someone. I cannot. Yeah, I can play. Don't worry, students. I always play. I don't think anyone is going to be there. Patience, students, patience. This is also learning curve. Everything is learning curve in the world. Okay, everything is a learning curve. Lysosomes. V for vacuole. V for vacuoles. So all of these are called as, they are part of endomembrane system. Endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, lysosomes, vacuoles. All of them are part of students. All of them are part of endomembrane system. Students, my patience will go otherwise if I keep teaching now. Now I'll show you one small question. Let's see who can solve a NEET level question. Students, shall we? Okay. Should I show you a NEET level question? This is a NEET PYQ. This right here is a NEET PYQ. Let's see who can solve this question now, students. This is a NEET PYQ right here. NEET PYQ right here. Let's see who can solve this question. Go. Next class I'll get repaired, don't worry. Which organelles that are included in the endomembrane system? See, mitochondria is not a part of it. Mitochondria is not a part of it. Mitochondria is not a part of it. This is the answer. So this is how the question can be asked in examination also. Now students, right, this is, they can be asked, their functional coordinator, or they can ask you, but here I've given the part already, the answer is given. Okay. Membrane bound organelles of endomembrane system coordinate unicellular cellular function. Yes. Mitochondria and chloroplast are not a part of endomembrane system. Yes. Both of them are not a part. So students, a mistake, I showed you the answer. See this. They are not a part of endomembrane system. So membrane bound organelles of endomembrane system coordinate cellular functions. That is, their functions are coordinated. Yes, true. This statement is true. So this is also NEET PYQ. This is also NEET PYQ right here. NEET PYQ right here. Their functions are coordinated. So students, I think we'll stop here. Otherwise, I will lose my patience right now. In next class, I will teach you all the members, right? One by one. Yeah, this is a NEET PYQ last year. 2024 question this is. NEET 2024. So do you realize, when you have the right guidance and if you have right way to look at the questions, everything is easy. Okay. This is a NEET PYQ which has been last year also. Okay. So there are sometimes questions are easy, sometimes questions are difficult. But let me tell you students, if you learn botany, biology from me, I will make sure, especially in NEET, if you're writing NEET examination, right? My preparation is all, my students last year also, out of 360, many of them got about 300 plus. Many got 300 plus. And in my paid batch also, many students, around 30 to 40 students got easily about 300 plus in biology, right? Because biology is very easy to understand if you have a right teacher. Okay. Students, I think I'll stop their class today. In next class, I'll teach you what is the endomembrane, all the organelles I'll teach you. What is endoplasmic reticulum, what is Golgi complex, what is lysosome, what is going to be your vacuole. I will also teach you what is mitochondria, and chloroplast in the next session, students. In the next questions. Okay. Yes, very hard to remember. It is hard to remember, but when you have small tricks, it is very easy to remember with the small tricks. Okay, students. So thank you so much for today's class, and I will see you next class, students. Do not forget to like the video. Let me know in the comment section if you enjoyed today's video. If you have any doubt regarding today's concept, also that also let me know in the comment section. Any doubt also. Okay. Notes, students, आज upload कर दूंगा notes को. Don't worry. Notes आज upload हो जाएगा. आज के आज notes upload हो जाएगा. Okay. Jai Hind. Yes. Yes. Jai Hind, sir. Jai Hind. All of you. Bye bye, students. Bye bye. Okay, students. Let me know. So I'm all signing off. Let me know in the comment section. आपको किसी प्रकार का कोई भी doubt है तो let me know in the comment section. Okay. And all the students, I want everyone to drop me a Hindi word in the comment section. All of you drop me one Hindi word and its meaning. I will learn it. So I will also learn with all of you. Okay. I will also learn with all of you. So bye bye, students. Take care, all of you. Boy, all of you.